All right, welcome back, everyone. So today, what I want to do, I think that last time, the last stream, I just showed you a few of my records, just to let kind of what I'm interested in, the kind of music I like, mostly jazz, but I also buy a lot of other genres, punk, alt rock, what have you. But I'd also like to kind of mix it up week to week, where I talk a little bit about what I've been buying, what I've been listening to, and also about some of the record stores that I visit. So, as if you watched my last video, you'll know that I do a lot of traveling. But I thought before I started getting into some of the places that I've been and some of the stores that I've been to and that I'll be looking to visit in the kind of weeks and months ahead, that I do a short video about where I live in Toronto and some of my favorite record stores. So those of you who live in Toronto, I don't know, might not be so interested in this, but if you're planning on a visit to Toronto for work or check out a university or something like that, then this video should be helpful. So let's get started. What I've done is I've lined up how many? One, two, three, four, just five stores. What I've decided to do is to kind of give you a little bit of a route. So I'm gonna kind of a geography, if you will. Here we go. What I want to do is kind of give you like a 2 or 3 hour afternoon where you can walk through the city of Toronto and pop into a bunch of record stores. Some better than others, but ones that I often put on my list, and I tend to drop by there at least once a month or so. So anyway, let's get started, and as we go through the stores, I'll have a few things to say about each store, its location. Here, let's kind of move it around, move our map around a little bit here. Well, let me open it up just so you can kind of see Toronto. This is Lake Ontario here at the bottom, and I'm not sure if you can see my cursor. Maybe not. Anyway, this is the core of Toronto here, the downtown core. But just on the edge of the downtown core, by which I mean kind of the business district, all the banks and what have you downtown. But just on the core of Toronto, just probably close to a lot of the main businessy hotels downtown. I think what we'll do is we'll start here with Cops Records. Cops Records have been around for many decades in and around Toronto. They in fact used to have a store just down the road here from where I live in the city, in the west end of the city. But they unfortunately closed down. So they've been kind of moving around their shops. They have a shop in Oshawa, which is about an hour and a bit east of Toronto. And then they have two stores in Toronto. They have a store in the East End on the Danforth, and then they have the store. I'll just be talking about this store here on Queen Street, 395 Queen Street. Here's a Here's their website. Maybe we'll come back to that in a second. Let's stay on the map. So yeah, so this is a good place to start. Queen, near the corner of Spadina. Nice shop. Again, I think they've been here for about, I want to say for about 3 or 4 years now, give or take a year or two. Um, it's a busy street. Those of you who know Toronto, there's a lot of shops, a lot of boutiques and fashion shops. So in the summer it can be really busy. In the winter, less so because it's quite cold, of course, in Toronto. Um, but Cops has I'll call it kind of a middle-sized store. There's a wide selection of LPs there. When you come in the front door, there's a nice kind of wall, or not wall, kind of section where you can go through some of the new releases. Um, but I think what distinguishes Cops from some of the other stores in Toronto is that they have a lot of, I guess, what people call bargain bins. Although I would say the bargain bins at Cops, which run I don't know. I'd say like a quarter of the store up front is bargain bins, but there's a huge selection. So it's not just a few crates or something on the floor, or the bargain bins that are sometimes in the basement. But Cops has quite a sizable bargain bin selection. Let's say a used selection. Some of them actually are not all that cheap. Some are probably under $5. Quite a few are under $5, and then some can go up to $30 that are good albums. But if you really have a lot of time and you're really into kind of digging, then that's a good place to start. Um, I usually go look for jazz, but they also have a good kind of collectibles section, I'm going to say. And I think that they also have some LPs on consignment that are also kind of collectibles. So you can go there and find some really great LPs, original LPs, rare LPs. They put a bunch on the wall at the back left-hand side of the store. I would say in general the prices there are actually pretty good for Toronto. And in general, I would say, having traveled all around the world and been down to the States quite a bit too, is that prices in Toronto are actually very good, particularly when you compare it to, let's say, a New York or London or even Paris. I would say that the prices here in Toronto, don't want to promote this too much because don't want too many people to come and buy all the albums in the city that I live in, but really I would say the prices in Toronto are at least 30% cheaper than those kind of larger cities. Anyway, so that's Cops, right? So Cops, I think if you call them, you can order from them. You could probably check in with them and see what they have at other stores. But you can see there's a wide range of genres here. The jazz section, again, my own personal interest is usually pretty decent, though it tends to be more reissues. But you can from time to time find some good used stuff here. I tend to go, however, just to check out their rare stuff. But anyway, so that's Cops. So often when I go on a kind of an LP walk and I meet up with some friends, that's kind of where we'll start here on Queen Street. Okay, let's zero in a little bit more so it's a bit easier to see. Okay, so this is Spadina. Spadina is easy. Spadina Avenue, I believe. It's easy to spot because there's a streetcar. There are streetcars that go up in north and south on Spadina. And if you walk up, so if you're at Cops, you walk up 1, 2, 3 blocks here. Yeah, let me leave my cursor on there. You'll see a very large store called, on the right-hand side, that would be the east side of Spadina as you walk north. That's called Sonic Boom. You can see that here. Here, let's switch over. There's their website. Let's go back here. It doesn't show the address here. Hang on. Let's click over and give you the address. Oh, it does want to go. Oh, here it is. It's 215 Spadina Avenue. I think this is probably the largest, in terms of square footage, largest record store in Toronto. If you want to leave me a comment and tell me I'm wrong, go right ahead. But it used to be up on Bloor Street. They relocated here quite a number of years ago. They used to have live shows. Kind of touring bands would show up and play a couple tunes in the basement when they were just down the road in the annex on Bloor Street in Toronto. But they moved. It's been quite a while. At least 10 years ago, they moved to their location on Spadina. Great location. You walk in and they've got all the new stuff to the right, a few collectibles here, but they also have a big stand in the middle. So when you walk in them into the store, there's a big stand, and you'll see that's where all the people kind of congregate, and it's where all the new used. So the newly arrived used LPs are there. They're not very well organized. I'm gonna say, oh geez, I don't even know how many LPs are there. There's a few hundred LPs up there. Again, right as you walk in, and the prices tend to be very, very good. Pretty decent selection. Again, jazz, rock, punk, some soul stuff, but a wide range of genres, and that's the same for their larger collection, their new and used collection in the basement. That's again absolutely huge. It spans almost all the genres that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, it's also a store that has some books in it. You know what I refer to sometimes as lifestyle record stores. Um, uh, it's not as bad. There's not a cafe in the corner and posers standing there looking like Bob Dylan or something. No. So anyway, but there's some stuff upstairs that's a bit more helpful to stop by as someone's birthday approaches or the holidays approach. You need to buy some presents that are not necessarily records. So that's a good thing to know. But if not, head on downstairs. I would say typically it's I'm going to say roughly at least three-quarters of the records downstairs are new. But again, if you have some time, you can, and I have on many occasions found some very well priced used records. If you go right to the back of the shop, not sure if they have any pictures here. Probably not. Oh, gallery. Let's have a look at that. Oh, there we go. That's helpful. So actually, you can see what I mean when I say that there's some books and it's a lifestyle record shop. Patches, all those kind of silly things. But yeah, you can head downstairs and check out the record selection. There you go. You get a pretty good idea how big it is. But if you go all the way to the back, I don't know if you can see my cursor necessarily, but all the way to the back of the room, and the collectibles are there. There's usually about probably about 4 or 5 crates back there. It's where they tend to put the record store day stuff back there. Again, some T-shirts, and there's an outside picture. So again, tend to go there at least once a month. I would say the prices are a touch more than Cops Records, the first store I talked about, but not all that much more expensive. And again, I find them to be considerably cheaper than stores in New York or L.A. or London or Paris. Anyway, okay, let's keep on going. So let's close these down. So that's Cops. We talked a little bit about Sonic Boom, um, which of course, for you nerds out there, was also in the Toronto set film. Oh geez, what's popped out of my head there? Scott Pilgrim. Spot. Scott Pilgrim. So when the store used to be up on Bloor Street, there's at least one, if not two, scenes inside Sonic Boom. So if you really want to geek out, as Scott Pilgrim says, then check out that film and you'll see Sonic Boom's previous location. Okay. Right across the street, let's pull that down. This is a little weird. It's a strange kind of very old, slightly dodgy mall, mostly populated by Chinese takeout restaurants and some other stores. But if you go downstairs, usually when they're open, which is after, let's have a look at their hours here. Oh, they're open right now. Sometimes they have odd hours, yeah. So they open at 1 o'clock, so a little bit later than most stores, so keep that in mind. But they are open on Sunday, which I didn't realize. Anyway, good to know. But you'll see in this picture, let's see if I can pull up that picture, that they're actually down in the basement, if that makes sense. So you can kind of see here at the bottom of the picture, there's some steps that go down from Spadina, go down to the basement. And if you turn to the right, you'll see this May hair design, but really it's Invisible City record shop. Sorry. Let's go back. Okay, there we go. Let's pull out their that's their website. Let's check out. Whoops, we don't want to go there. Sorry, everyone. Okay, here it is. There's the address: 222 Spadina Avenue, Unit C4. So maybe a little hard to find. Here's their phone number. You can give them a call if you can't find them. But it's well worth going there. I love Invisible City. They used to be just a bit north of the city, of the core, on a street called Geary Street. They had a small shop upstairs, even actually much harder to find than their store where they are now. They are also the owners have a record company as well. I know that they also do a lot of DJing. So sometimes when you go in there, there'll be someone spinning albums. I would say the reason why I like this store is because there's more of a focus on kind of soul, jazz, what people are calling rare grooves. So they've got a great wall. Let's see if there's some pictures here. There we go. There's a nice. Can we see that? There we go. So they have a nice wall of LPs. Some of their more interesting things that are come in at the back. You can't really see it here, but there's a couple stations where you can listen to albums. I don't think Sonic Boom. I don't think they have one, or Cops have somewhere to listen to albums. So that's really nice. There's a couple places where you can sit down as well. Let's just flip through, see if there's any other good images here. Oh, what's that? That's not them. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, you can see here in some of these pictures, it's a comfortable place. The folks that run it are super friendly. You can sit down. I usually go through and find what I'm interested in, and then sit down and pull out my phone and start cracking through Discogs to see what I have in my lap. But yeah, so they usually have at least a good 100 or so new arrivals. I think almost everything there is used. Um, they've got a good kind of disco selection. They've got what else? Some good electronica, reggae. They usually have a decent amount of reggae there. If you're a DJ, you see quite a few DJs there collecting um, various bizarre versions of hip hop and what have you. Not my thing necessarily, but hey, it's a great store. Again, very friendly if you can find it. Prices are decent. They're okay. I think if you pay cash, maybe they'll knock a little bit off. But what else can I say about that? I was going to say something else. Oh yeah, just check the quality. Sometimes I think they tend to, just because they have a lot of rare albums there, rare grooves, that I would say, the quality of the LPs are kind of VG and VG plus. So sometimes I bought some stuff that I kind of maybe regret it, maybe once or twice. I don't want to say anything bad about the store, but just check the quality of the LPs there again, because it is all used LPs, and absolutely make use of the turntable, and you can listen to it and see what the quality is from the get-go. So yeah, so that is Invisible City Record Shop, and highly rated here on Google. All right, so we're walking north still here. So I'm gonna take you not to Juicy Dumplings, but up. You can see I've tagged a lot of my my favorite restaurants here in Chinatown. But I want to take you up about what are we looking at? About 10 blocks north, not even, to a record store, second to last record store that I'm going to talk about today. It's called Play the Record, and I don't know the full history of this store, but I believe they used to be on Yonge Street. They were profiled, or at least the owner was profiled in a recent documentary that was on think it was on Prime. Pretty sure it was on Prime, maybe Netflix, but I'm going to go with Prime. And it was called, or is called, Drop the Needle. So if you're interested in the store, the history of the store, the history of the owner, and how the owner played a really important role in the DJ culture scene here in Toronto and perhaps elsewhere, I really encourage you to check out that documentary. It's a really great kind of history of music in Toronto. This is a store I drop by usually, again, about every year. It's I would say it's probably at least 50-50 new and used, maybe a little bit more used. They've got a great room in the back. Let's have a look at their photos and see what's going on here. That's obviously the front. Is there a way we can? Oh, there it is. We can move through these photos. So yeah, this is about the middle part of the store here, and this is a jazz collection. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 bins here. A lot of soul and funk here. You can kind of see some of the titles. Here's Michael Jackson here on the wall. But if you walk through, looks like they've kind of covered up the employees or something. If you walk to the right of the jazz and go through, let's see if they have some pictures. There's a room in the back. There. No, is that it? No. You can see it's a little scattered that day. Maybe they don't have it. That's facing forward. Well, you can see there's some hero there in the back looking for, looks like a friend of mine, looking looking for some LPs. There's some world music back there. That's where a lot of the DJs go, in the back room, to check out all the serious, spinning stuff. Well worth dropping by. Prices tend to be again very fair. Not a huge selection of vintage stuff. This is most of you can see in the picture here. That's most of the used stuff here at the back of the shop. But yeah, it's a place where you need to dig a little bit more. There's all the new arrival stuff is at the front of the store. There's a lot of equipment there as well, and it's always quite boisterous and a lot of people talking and elbowing and looking at each other. So it's a scene, I think. Is that what I'm trying to say? Yeah, it's a bit of a scene, and well worth going there and checking it out. Okay, where are we going to go to next? Let's move over. This is for those of you who don't know, this is kind of the I'll zero in a little bit more, the market area of Toronto. So often when I go record shopping with my friends, we'll grab obviously make our purchases and then go find a bar here in this area where it's kind of the yellow area. It's called Kensington Market. Great place to stop, grab a sandwich. Very multicultural set of institutions and stores and restaurants, and a couple, 2 or 3 decent bars there that we usually stop in and compare notes and see what it is that we've bought. Okay, so but if you want to bypass that, which I wouldn't do, so have a stop there. Anyway, have a drink and then get on to College Street. Here's College Street here. Let's zoom in a little bit, and you'll see there's another tagged store called She Said Boom. This is the last one that I'll talk about. Here's the address, 378 College. Yeah, open a little bit later than a few places, from noon to 7, except for Sunday, which is today, until 6. So great hours. It's a mix. Let's have a look at some of the photos. You can see right away that it's a little bit more. It's a kind of a mixed record and bookshop, of which there used to be quite a few more in Toronto, and a few of them have closed down. There's another She Said Boom. I'm assuming it's the same owner on the west side of the city. On Roncesvalles Street. I haven't been there in ages, so I couldn't tell you what's going on there. But this is a really great shop, because let's zero in a little bit more. Because prices. The prices are always very good. The LPs move really quickly. Um, I would say it's little bit more of a rock, jazz, a little bit of blues, but mostly rock there. You can find some rare stuff there. There's always a nice wall of LPs behind the staff there who are always super friendly. There isn't somewhere to listen to LPs, but if I find something and I look at it long enough, the fellow behind the cash register will always say, "Hey, you want me to put it on?" And so they're really it's a friendly place. We get into some banter sometimes with the owner there. I really like it, but I like it mostly just because there's a lot of turnover of LPs there, and like I said, the prices are really great. I don't know how many LPs I've bought from there over the years. Every time I go in there, I buy at least a couple LPs. So it's not dangerous because the prices are. You can get great stuff under $20 there, I'd say. So yeah, so that's my quick tour of downtown Toronto again from Queen Street. Um, Again, let's Queen Street. Let's move around here north to Spadina. These are all very interesting areas too. If you haven't been to Toronto before, and then over to college. So I'm going to say like the walk from Cops all the way up to She Said Boom. That's maybe I don't know kilometer and a half or a mile and a half, something like that. It's not a long walk. Lots of places to stop for food and drinks, as I said before, along the way, and a lot of digging to do. So anyway, hope this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, drop me some notes. Give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment if you have any questions or comments. And yeah, I'll see you soon.